Louisville Penitentiary, so the nurses from the prison could attend. It was my first experience with a hybrid meeting, a challenge that became incredibly common during the pandemic of 2020 and beyond, but reinforced the strong need to develop an environment where everyone feels included and present. In one meeting, some of the participants at the prison site were dozing off, since most of us who were physically present were involved in a complex discussion, and we were forgetting to bring the participants on the video conferencing site into the conversation. 20 years after this meeting, schools and organizations everywhere would be navigating this balance. Exploring and understanding multicommunication. After graduating from Ohio State with my Ph.D. in 1996, the business school at Georgetown University, later named the McDonough School of Business, hired me to teach courses to MBAs and executives about strategies for engaging their audiences through presentations, conversation, and writing. My research continued to explore telemedicine, and I also began examining the use of instant messaging. I had the opportunity to research the use of instant messaging at AOL. This was when I really started to become interested in how people could engage in multiple conversations at the same time. About 1 month after the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, I was conducting interviews, and one person told me a story about how he realized he never really talked to his coworkers face-to-face, even though he had been working next to them in his cubicle for a number of years. He said he was very focused on his work one day when the power went out. At the time, AOL's headquarters was located in Dulles, Virginia, not far from Dulles Airport. Everyone stood up from their cubicle and looked toward Dulles Airport to see if there was some kind of problem, because there had been much discussion about how one of the planes that was part of the September 11 attacks had flown out of Dulles. He told me that once everyone realized that the power outage probably had to do with nearby construction, they stood up and silently walked to the elevators. No one really talked with each other. He said people weren't used to talking with each other face to face. They would send instant messages to each other rather than walk to another cubicle. Wow! Stories like this drew me further into exploring social presence and what it meant. Based on this instant messaging research, my colleagues and I developed the construct of multicommunicating to describe how people engage in multiple conversations at once. With the birth of the iPhone in 2007 and the rapid diffusion of mobile devices, this practice exploded. Now individuals were thinking not just about what communication channel to use to be socially present, but also about how many conversations they could be in on one channel and still be socially present. At about this time, my appointment at Georgetown moved over to the graduate school in the Communication, Culture, and Technology CCT program, where I was able to continue to study the impact of communication technologies on organizations and individuals. Creating a framework for managing social presence. As I researched multicommunicating and its impact on social presence, I continued to learn from my students in the CCT program and the business school. I had conversations with executives who had returned to Georgetown to pursue degrees, as well as executives who came to Georgetown for training programs. Many of the stories and interviews I've had with them appear in this book. I listened as executives, faculty members, students, and family members talked about how mobile devices were infiltrating their work and home lives. Over the past 20 years, I've talked with thousands of people, exploring their thoughts about social presence. My colleague Sonia Foss and I created a framework for managing social presence that draws from these ideas, and we supported it with academic research. This framework is the basis for the strategies that I explore in this book.